Welcome. We're really glad you're here. Around our family, the door is usually open, the table's usually full, and somehow there's always room for one more.
This podcast is about making room. Room for faith, for family, for laughter, for the messy and the meaningful. It's about inviting you into our family culture and letting you experience the joy and chaos of a big family right alongside us.
We're moms, daughters, sisters, and friends.
All in different seasons of life, but we're all gathered around the same table.
So pull up a chair, take a deep breath, and stay a while, because love multiplies when we make room, and there is always one more seat at the table. Hello, and welcome back to the Room for More podcast. My name is Noelle, as always, joined here with my mom and my sister today.
Hi, I'm Felicity.
And I'm Patricia, the mom.
And Faith and Grace are, I don't know what's going on. They're having technical difficulties. We've waited for them for 30 minutes. Their thing is glitched out. We finally just said heck with it. And if they butt in here, they butt in here, and we'll introduce them when we see them. So just maybe kind of to start us off, just catch up. Let's just catch up with each other. We kind of did a little bit before this, but Felicity, what's new in your world?
Oh gosh, our life has just kind of slowed down, which has been amazing. My husband Owen finally got his big test out of the way for residency, which is huge. So our family is just finally able to enjoy each other's presence and enjoy this next month of this summer together. So we're in a really sweet spot right now.
It's like we're able to finally take a breath.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have school then? Is it like a break
Well,
for him?
he does. He only has morning clinic though. So he has a lot of extra time. We have the afternoons together now when I'm off of work. So it's been amazing.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's just slow, and he just has morning clinic. So we have a lot of extra time together and the evenings together, which is what we did not have at all before. So it's really special to get that time back.
It's crazy what and this kind of plays into our podcast theme today, but what having time with your spouse or your significant other in the evenings or not having that consistently can do for your relationship.
Yes, it's
honestly
huge.
It's you don't realize it till it's gone, and then you're like, oh.
Or just
we need time to connect.
Having a lot more of the load fall onto one person is a lot. It just becomes really heavy. But also trying to support each other in those roles. Yeah. How have you been, Noelle?
I've been good. I am fully committed to doing this half marathon. Grace convinced me to run it. I've been pretty good. I am training for this half marathon. Well, I haven't even started training. I bought shoes today for the half marathon that I'm going to run with Grace and her boyfriend and maybe Faith's husband, and who else is running it? Oh, two of our friends that Haley and Adam, who met at our wedding.
Fun.
So that's kind of fun. It'll be like a group of people that I know, and it's just something that I have felt like I needed to take my mind off of in this stage of life. It's just I'm in this weird stage where we want to have another baby, but we also are we're enjoying the stage we're at with our kids. But then it's hard to not have that fear sneak up of what could happen. I don't know, just to get the cart ahead of the horse in my mind is really hard to not just be enjoying the moment,
Yeah.
So, I've been good. Just looking forward to that, and gonna start training next week. So I'm excited, and it's also exciting because it also lines up with the date that we want to hopefully buy our new car. And also when Felicity has her baby.
Well,
and also when Adelaide turns 4. So I'm this is just it is the finish line of all finish lines. And then it's the holidays. It's
that is awesome.
Heck yeah.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. I just feel giving yourself something to look forward to is really important. At least for me. So yeah, I'm pumped about that. Faith and Grace are back. What's new with you guys?
It's new.
You can go first.
You got it.
Oh, we just had a stressful situation trying to figure this out. So I'm not
frazzled.
Yeah, I'm a little flustered. Gosh, what's new? I guess I'm a little bit deeper into the job application process, and I've just kind of run into some roadblocks with just the wait time on some of these applications, and all of the interview process and everything. So I feel like I'm starting to make some segue, and that's kind of exciting.
Some segue. You mean headway?
Oh, let me redo
I don't
that.
know the difference, Faith. I'm not judging.
Okay, that's mustard. Okay.
That was a nice segue into finding out what's up with
Yeah,
Grace.
she's segueing.
I'm segueing into a new
Exactly.
career path.
She's waiting.
Waiting. Oh.
Making some segue. I don't know how you make segue, but I would like to know. That sounds fun.
Why does it
Anywho,
remind me of one of those like things that Paul Blart Mall Cop?
yes, it does. What are those called? Are those called segue?
I don't
Scootersy
think
right
that's
now?
a segue. You segue
No, I think
into
it
something.
is.
That's
No,
also
I
a
think that's
segue?
called a segue too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's two meanings, but
I-
they was not
maybe it's
meaning either.
She's not making Poplar Mop Cop segues.
I'm sorry. I'll get that vocabulary
Wow.
straightened out hopefully before my interview.
Hopefully.
So you have one interview, or is it like
Guys,
couple
it is
different-
called a segue.
Oh, it is.
No wonder.
Mall
Segue.
cop.
The little car thing.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
scooter?
Gotcha. That's funny.
Yeah, I guess because I'm so new to the application process, the hiring process, all that world, I didn't realize that how important like LinkedIn is. So once I got on there, it was a game
I'm
changer.
sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
That's awesome. How exciting.
In our composure
Yeah,
over here.
sorry.
Okay, Grace, what's new with you?
No, I didn't. I didn't
No,
mean to cut you off.
that's all. Really. Besides this dang
That's
heat.
exciting though. That's big.
Yeah.
I was wondering about you the other day, Faith. I was like wondering what your plan was or what your next steps were. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
It sounds very hopeful too.
I hope so.
Good.
So exciting.
Is it a job that you like are really wanting?
Yeah, it's something I really see myself enjoying, and I think just from like what I've seen about the company and the people I've talked to already internally, I am feeling pretty confident about the fit. So
Wow, that's
Yay.
awesome.
we'll see.
So this must have been a very recent development.
Yeah, I submitted the application on Sunday, and then I was on a phone call with a guy yesterday on Monday.
Wow.
So it's like the first steps of the process.
Yeah, it feels a lot more hopeful and very relational compared to some of the other ones where it's just like
Mhm.
you're just like kind of ghosted for 3 weeks while they haven't
Yeah.
even closed the application yet. But you would just 3 weeks kind of seems like a lot when you're like in the job search because it's like
Yeah.
attached to these jobs because you have to like get emotionally attached in order to like
Mm.
write like a good cover letter and like
Yeah.
mold your resume to the right experience and stuff. So it's been a little bit more of a like emotional process than I thought it would be. I didn't think it was going to be that way at all, but yeah.
That's also a lot of work to put in to like not even get like any opportunity
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do or move things along at
Yeah.
all.
But
Yeah.
you really can tell the difference in like company atmospheres very early on in the process, which is huge.
Totally. Yeah, I think the hardest part for me right now is like I'm still trying to really like soak in the rest of my summer with Micah, and so trying to find the right balance because
Mm.
like I am noticing now too. Erin and I were just talking about how like this part of the process is a lot more time consuming because you have like I have another phone call tomorrow and I'm messaging with
Mhm.
other people on LinkedIn, and like it just takes a lot more time, and it's hard to figure out how do I want to like spend these last 3 weeks with Micah at home, like this like summer fun that I will never get back with him at this stage.
Mhm.
Do I want to like just soak this up, or should I know I should be forward thinking in some capacity? It's just like hard to find the right balance.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. So
That's how I feel every day, honestly.
3 short weeks, so it's crazy.
I think
Yeah.
that is kind of the story of a mom, though. It's
Yeah.
like you're pulled in so many different directions, and there's just never enough of you.
Well, and there's never
know?
like I think we want there to be a perfect answer of like, okay, this is how much time I need to spend with my kids to make sure that they are fulfilled, and then this is how much time I need to spend on my own, so I'm fulfilled. And like there really is never a perfect ratio of like time spent with your kid, because like I think we would all like to say like, oh yeah, I want to soak up every single moment with them when they're little because they're only little once. But at the same time, like that's not really realistic. And it's like at the end of the day, if you do your best, it's all you can do. Like
I think it's
you have to have a job, you have to make money for your family, and like that's part of loving him too, you know?
Yeah.
and I think just like really concentrating on then being in that moment when you do have the opportunity, that's
Mhm.
it's easy to not be present too when you have the opportunity. So
Yeah.
Yep.
True. Well, Grace, what's new with you?
What is new with me? Um, well, currently kind of in the process of potentially opening a salon. So
Heck
it's
yeah.
finalized, but just like kind of getting everything together for that. And yeah, just a lot of different like factors that trying to align this week. So yeah, that's been keeping me busy and exciting and kind of mixed emotions because it's like the logistical side of things is like not the most exciting to me and not really my strong suit. So I get
Mhm.
more excited about like the like creative side of it of like the decorating and designing, all that stuff. Like there's the like practical side of things that has to happen too. So yeah, that's kind of what this week is. So ironing out some of that and then gonna kind of make a final decision based off of some of those things. So yeah.
That's so
So
exciting.
super exciting.
Yeah.
we all kind of have our own like new beginnings kind of happening. So it's
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
fun
Very
era.
true.
I love it.
Mom, what's new with you guys?
Just the summer's quickly coming to a close as far as we go. We're going on vacation tomorrow and then we'll get back and have like a week and school starts. So it's just,
Wild.
yeah, it's crazy,
I feel
but
like
it's
school starts
exciting.
so early this year. Is that like
I
normal?
I know, I
I don't
agree. It
know.
seems so early.
It is really early. It's at least a week early,
I
Yeah.
wonder
So
why.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
is interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I will say that's one thing I'm really not regretting is
Being done with that.
yeah,
It's
not
like there's no back to school season for me.
yeah, it feels kind of good to be honest.
Mhm.
Well,
Well,
because I
'cause
some of the rest of you guys have, I mean, not mom for a very long time, but you guys have gone away from like the cyclical, like
Mhm.
school year, end of school year
Mhm.
mindset.
Mhm.
Mom's been in that for
Yeah, I know.
quite
Kidding.
some time.
almost 30 years. Well, 30 years because preschool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's so wild. I was in preschool 30 years. No, I wasn't in preschool 30 years ago.
I was like, wait.
I was born
Wait,
29 years
no,
ago.
not 30 years ago. You're
What? I was
right.
in preschool when I was in utero.
I've never
Hold
been
up.
strong in math, so
Unless mom was teaching preschool then, but I don't think you were quite
I
yet.
was
no,
still
I
learning and like
wasn't. So it
singing
would have been
songs in the
25
womb.
years ago. Or how many years would that make it then? Because you started preschool at what,
20,
4
I
or
mean, I
3?
don't know. You started. I don't know how old
I
27.
I
think
was.
23. I think you started, or I think you
At 3
started, I'm
years,
sorry. You started when you were 3. So
27.
I'm
whatever that
28
is.
right now. I'll be 29 in the
26.
month.
Right.
So
That's wild.
Not
That
my
is.
strong suit.
29.
Great. I think that's your new word. Wow.
29 and feeling fine, baby.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fine
Okay.
wine.
What?
Aging like fine wine.
That's me. So why don't we get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast, shall we?
Yeah,
We
let's
Let's
dive.
shall.
do it.
So yeah, what we want to talk about is relationships in this series. And I know last podcast episode we kind of touched on sisterhood, not really in like a super, I don't know. We might talk about that again. This week we'll talk more about like marriage and committed relationships. And then we'll do some more about like maybe friendship next week or the next podcast, and then dive into sisterhood again and then a couple more. So this will just be like a relationship centric series. So yeah, today we kind of just wanted to talk about committed relationships, whether that be marriage, engagement, dating seriously. Um, yeah, anybody have any thoughts at first just to like kick us off? How long has everybody been married slash dating slash
In your relationship.
committed? Yeah.
Mom, you kick us off.
Okay, well, it'll be 30 years in November, and we dated 3 years prior to that. So,
Wow.
yeah, we've been together more of my life than we haven't been together.
Wow.
Or-
I love
That
that.
is crazy.
yeah, yeah. Isn't that?
That's wild.
So,
You
yeah.
built so much in that time.
And, the whole formation process never stops
Mhm.
because, you're kind of formed at home and then you're formed again by the people that are around you. So, um, like continually formed by your dad, but also formed by all the kids in our house. So
I love
it's
that.
just a neat journey.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next since I'm the elder of these other 3 girls here.
Respect older.
Eldest daughter.
I'm the eldest daughter or the eldest. Austin and I have been dating for well, what? No, we've been married for we've been married
Uh,
for 5.5 years.
That is wild.
That is
Right?
crazy.
Wild.
Noelle, you should tell them also like how long was your dating and engaged relationship?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is crazy too. This is wild as well. So we started dating in November of 2019. Okay. If you do the math there, you can kind of figure it out. But we got engaged in May of 2020, which was not even 6 months later, 6 months later. I don't know. And then we got married the following February of 2021. So, you know what's crazy? I went from never having dated anyone in my life to having a boyfriend to having a fiance to being a wife in the span of
15 months.
15 months.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then we had a year. I was thinking about this the other day and I'm like, if I ever doubt that God has a plan for my future, I just need to like rewind my life and like think about that season of life
Mhm.
because the summer of 2019, I had zero idea what was coming in that next year. I mean, like putting myself in that place, it's like that was kind of like my wild summer where I like just went on these it's a whole nother thing, but I had a bunch of different guys in my life that, okay, it wasn't what you think, but I just like never saw it coming. And so to think that in that season of life, I was like super in my single era, like never, and I was going to be a senior in college. And then a year later, like I was engaged. I had moved to Florida with my fiance. I had studied abroad during that time. And I also COVID hit during that time. So like talk about a whirlwind of a year.
That's
And like
insane.
I just think about that now. Like I was trying to remind myself of that now being in the season of life of waiting of like who am I to think that like I can plan my future when God has done all of this in my life so far, you
Mhm.
know? And like why would he just bring me this far to be like, "Oh, there's nothing left for you anymore." Bye. Like just going to
Mhm.
hang up the phone and like not care about it
Yeah.
anymore. Like that's not his character. And so, yeah, that went on a whole tangent, but we've been we've been married for 5.5 years. It'll be 6 in February, but we have been dating for 7 years.
You've been together.
Together for 7 years. Yeah.
I love that. So sweet. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wild.
So,
Faith.
yeah, Aaron and I are coming up on 4 years of marriage, which also seems really crazy. But rewinding back to our dating and engagement, we started dating in November of 2021. No,
2020.
2020. Yes, because Noelle had just gotten engaged and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was right when we went back to college from COVID. Then Aaron and I met like the first time I was even in any social setting back at college. And then we started dating that November and dated like a year and a half before our engagement in March. And then we were married in that December. So we had just had like a 9-month engagement. And I think that was like the perfect amount of time, honestly. And yeah, been married for almost 4 years now. And we have just one little perfect little ray of sunshine. So
Who's in his screaming era?
he is his pterodactyl era, I call it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And he went from crawling to running.
Literally. He never walked.
Yeah.
He just
He's
runs
so
and
dang
dives.
Even when he was learning to walk, he
was like,
yeah.
so cute.
and
Like
he
when
would
you
just
would
like
try to
dive.
like let him go, he would like just like plunge.
Dive.
Yeah.
And
So
he does a
cute.
lot of like trust falls.
Oh gosh.
Like off of furniture. And I'm like, yeah, I can't
Babies
press
have no sense
Sense of safety. I
No.
know.
down the stairs if I let him.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
such
my
a
gosh.
Jacob and I together for a whole 5 months.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Bring him
Which
on the pod.
It's actually funny because like thinking about that, like just about the fact that I didn't like know him at all before that and I know him now. It's just crazy that the progression of 5 months. Like
Mhm.
in some ways it feels like it's been longer than that because we were just like a blind date set up. So we didn't know each other at all before we
Mhm.
like each other. So yeah, it's just like it's wild how much you get to know someone in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
Like looking back, it's like wow, everything that's happened in that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, especially when you go into the relationship with more like serious intentions and your intention is really to get to know that person on a deep level and make sure that you are a good match before continuing. I think that
Mhm.
really
And
changes the pace of things.
for Grace and Jacob, just from the outside looking in, I just think that there's so much like maturity, like especially emotional maturity between the two of them. And I think that like naturally something like that when they're both established in their own realm and then they both bring in this like emotional maturity, then I just think that like makes a perfect recipe for things to like develop really quickly and to get really fast.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
definitely a
Sure.
contributing factor.
Jacob, if you're listening, we love you.
We do.
He loves you all back.
He seems like he's just always been around. It's kind of crazy to think it's
I
only been
know.
5 months.
That is so
He fits
weird.
in really well.
He
Yeah.
does.
So
He does.
Fly dad.
Let's see. Owen and I actually started dating in high school for those of you that may not know that. So our relationship timeline was a little bit different. We started dating in the summer of 2020. So actually before Faith and Aaron did, I guess. I didn't realize that until we started saying that, but we dated for 3 years and then got engaged young when we were 20. We were engaged for 8 months, I think, which I also would say was like the perfect amount of time. Planned our wedding and got married while we were in school. Owen's still in school, but now we've been married for 2.5, coming up on 3 years. So we've been together for a little over 6 years now. Yeah, and then have our almost 2-year-old and a baby on the way. So life is crazy, and I agree. It's just God's plans are so much greater than ours. And I also, at the age of 16, did not see my life going this way. And I didn't think that I would be 23 and pregnant with my second child.
Felicity,
It's
everybody else knew that
crazy.
you would be.
Well, I didn't think I thought maybe I maybe get married at 22 or 23, but life has just been at a very fast pace in this time, which is very beautiful, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, God is so good. We are very
Wait, that
blessed.
is wild to think about. Like, I forget that you're so much younger.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like I see
I
you as a
know.
peer. I mean, and we are like adults or whatever, but like, that is wild that you had
It's
Eden when you were
weird.
21.
Yeah. Well, I was almost 22, and then I'll have this baby when I'm almost 24. But I know it's just it is wild. Like when I think about my age, I'm like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, you think you're thinking that I'm gonna be 30 next year.
Well,
As you
I'm
get
saying,
older,
what, Faith?
sorry, as you get older, the like just the like age gaps completely
Yeah.
like I feel like I
Mhm.
look to you for so much like guidance with parenting, and I never think about the fact that you're what like 4 or 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
crazy.
crazy, but yeah.
It's interesting too when you step back and look at it all from a different perspective because that whole idea of how fast things happen and like over that period of time, now it seems so short, but when you're living it, it's just like your norm or
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
It's
But then
normal
when
to
you look
us.
back,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, how did Noelle go 15 months from dating
Yeah.
to married? But it was God's time. I mean, it was very
Yeah.
obviously God's timing because I was very at peace with that. And so was your dad. So I
Yeah.
just think it's really cool. And again, to speak to your point, Noelle, about timing, God's timing, that he does like have it all figured out. And we probably could spend a lot less time worrying about it, but that's really hard to
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
No, but it
It
is
really
like
is.
such a good reminder. I think this is one reason why, and I'm really bad about this now, but I used to really be good about keeping a journal. And that is something that I would recommend to myself to just do today and to everybody else because when you look back on it, then you really can see the promises of God that he has brought to fruition in your life in the
Mhm.
past and remind yourself because it's so easy to forget. Like I it's like every single day where I'm like almost on the verge of a mental breakdown of like, "Oh my gosh, what if we like never have any more kids?" And like what if there's just like, just like this like what if like despair almost. And then to bring yourself back to reality of like not like kind of what I said before, like this is the character of God and like to open a journal page and to read back to like where you were emotionally, spiritually 5 years ago to where you are now. It's like, "Oh my gosh, we've come so far." And you just like
Yeah.
so easily forget.
He's
Yeah.
so faithful and he really has fulfilled those desires of our heart in the past. So why would
Mhm.
we not trust that with our future?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Good perspective.
And really like
Absolutely.
far surpasses so many desires, that's the way I feel
Mhm.
anyways. That, looking back, I wouldn't have dreamed that, you know, we would have 8 children, all doing, thriving really. If I do so say so myself, not that I'm solely responsible for that, but I'm just saying like God is so good because sometimes even in spite of us, he can bring good beyond our imagination.
Yeah.
So
Well, what if we jump into just kind of like the harder areas of marriage and relationships, just kind of what that looks like, and how you navigate those? Maybe we could just start by kind of chatting about how we can support our spouse and how we feel supported through different difficult seasons that we've been through,
Hmm.
and what that dynamic looks like.
Well, I'll just speak to my experience from I came into a completely different world than I grew up in. Um I think you guys kind of know what I'm referring to. Like we grew up, let's just say, so I'm in a farming family now. I married into a farming family, and it's a very it's a family farm, so it's a very big like cultural part of the family and the community that we live in. And we grew up around farming, around it, not, I guess, not completely immersed in it. And so for me, my difficult seasons have been especially harvest time, and planting a little bit, but it's not near as bad. So I would say that's like my hardest season every year on our marriage. And I'm hopeful that this year, with the change in pace of like my job, that can be helpful. But I think just managing, like, I think at first it was really tricky because Aaron was just used to people showing up at the field and supporting them in that way because that's just how their family has always been. But I think it just took a lot of intentional conversations of like kind of what I saw coming into our marriage, like what I anticipated that season to look like compared to the reality of it. Um, and I think we just like kind of like brainstorm from there different ways to like kind of take some load off of me. And he just like, I don't know. I honestly don't think we have it completely figured out yet because like one of his jobs in our house, like to keep the house, is like he always does the dishes. I never have to do the dishes, which thank goodness for him because we don't have a dishwasher and he is our dishwasher. And so I think during that season, like after like just getting home from work, cooking, and then having to clean and stuff, like he was like, let me just take that off your hands. Like I'll just like we can do things, like he'll say like we can get things that are a little bit less extravagant, like go get a frozen pizza or like a Walmart pizza and we can do that. I haven't done that before because I like to go all out and that's kind of to my detriment sometimes. But he tries to take the load off of me and says, you don't need to go all out, and making each other feel seen in their struggle. You know, even though Aaron's still having the time of his life in the combine and he loves when we get to go ride. And I do enjoy that time together too. But it's just about being really intentional about the time that we do have together.
Yeah, I would say for me, we've been in several seasons of hardship in our marriage. Um, Obviously, like a lot of really good ones too, but the one that comes to mind, or just like recurring, I guess, every time that we have a hard season, one thing that I always know is the antidote to something hard that we're going through is communion with each other. And that like when you're going through something hard on your own, that it's so important that you don't try to do it on your own.
Mhm.
Because that is my tendency as a I don't know. I don't even call myself type A because I think I'm like type C, like a mix of stuff. But just as somebody who I want to like do it and I want to like do it myself, do it right, and just like plow through and like ignore things. It's like when you're in a committed relationship, if you close your heart off to the other person, then you're not actually like in full communion with them. And then you can tell like that comes out in different ways in your relationship. So like that I've just found that to be the case like when we're going through hard things, like even together that we're going through hard things, that like the communication has to be like constant. Otherwise, you just like I find myself like at the end of the day saying things to Austin that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I almost didn't tell you that. And like you wouldn't have known what was going through my brain if I didn't just tell you that, you know? Like it's so
Mhm.
easy to just get in your own like lane. And it's like, no, in a relationship, you guys are in the same lane. And so I think that's one thing that's really helped us is just constant communication. And obviously with kids, that is very tough. So just prioritizing the time that we have together, like in the evenings, making sure that like, hey, I'm not gonna like just scroll on my phone for an hour, even though I might want to just like veg out and do that. But actually it would be a lot more helpful if we spent time together and like watched a show together and like just had quality time together and then had time to talk to each other and process through things together because I think it especially in the social media world it's so easy to get sucked into that and then just be like you look up from your phone and an hour has passed and you look at each other and you're like well it's time to go to bed and then you have no
Mhm.
communication with one another. So that's one thing I've realized just on a day-to-day basis is like okay I need to like go plug my phone in the kitchen and then just not touch it until the next morning,
Yeah,
and that
just taking
helps.
that time to invest in each other and your relationship is so important.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, yeah, I would say through hard seasons, I completely agree. I think that communication is the biggest thing, and our most recent hard season has been with Owen studying, and just a lot of time with us having to separate and him needing to focus on that and me focusing on more things at home. So both of us having a heavier load, but also like you said, Noel, just like communicating through that and letting your significant other know what your needs are and how they can help meet your needs even during that busyness. And I think especially like just your own spouse or your person and you know how to communicate best with them, but also you know that they can't read your mind. And so it's so important to state those things and also state how you need them to love you. Um, Yeah. So I'd say very similar to what you said, just like being able to communicate and have that protected time for each other without kids around too. That's just for you two to focus on each other.
How do you I have a question, Fly, or I guess just for anyone. How do you make what you need known to your partner?
I
Like,
feel like
whatever.
I feel like that is really hard, honestly, because a lot of times I don't even know what I need. And
Mhm.
that's what's tricky. And that's something that I've like actually learned more through therapy of like I have to be trying like it's important for me to understand what's going on within my own body well enough to be able to express something to because I can't expect my husband to serve me in ways that he when he doesn't know how, when I don't even know what's happening in my own body. So it is really tricky. And that, yeah, as soon as I said that, I was like, it is really it's a challenge to state to somebody like, hey, I need you to serve me in this way. But for me, it's been things like, hey, every night after dinner, I've had a really long day. I want to go take my bath after dinner. So if you can keep our daughter for that 20 minutes of protected time for me to have my space, then I can come back and be ready to completely interact with both of you again. So it's just kind of
I love
finding those
that.
little things that work best for us that I know myself well enough to know I'm not going to be a fully present wife and mom if I don't have a little bit of time away at the end of the day to be able to fully enter in after that.
Yeah, I might add to that too. I think that especially early into a committed relationship, a lot of times when you do have disagreements, maybe they might turn into kind of arguments per se. But I think over time, what Aaron and I have both learned is like there's no winning in a disagreement. Like at the end of the day, you should be a team trying to like come to a common like viewpoint. And so I think that that has really shifted things. And I think over time, like year after year of your marriage, you just get to know each other better and you know, like, kind of triggers for one another or how to support each other in different ways and different communication styles that work for you. So, like, nothing's going to go for, like, one thing that we might say doesn't go for every relationship.
Mhm.
Different people communicate in different ways. And I think just like giving yourself grace and patience with that, but ultimately just making sure that you are understood by and understand your partner. Just having patience with that and knowing that like it's not always personal, I think is a big thing. Like
Yeah,
it's about getting to know the person and it's not about you.
absolutely.
Mom, what would you say? I'm curious to hear your take on all this.
Well, first of all, I think you guys, I admire and think it's very beautiful how much you've already learned about how to be in relationship and how to protect that time. I think that's awesome. And it's a good, like, I don't know, reminder to me, because it's just so easy to get caught up in the day to day life and especially being married for 30 years or almost. But I would say, I think it's, you know, we're just, relationships are hard because people are imperfect. And um, we have different times in our lives that we have more of a capacity to give than we do other times. And sometimes, I know for me, at least, probably the hardest time was having all 8 of you at home, having a newborn and having high school kids. And, during that time was also when dad lost his brother, and I'm kinda getting choked up because it was a really, really hard time. I don't think we've ever had that hard of a time in our relationship, our marriage, but very beautiful things happening, but just a lot, and both of us struggling to have much of a capacity to give. So, I think that's why, we have referred to this in the podcast before being a really hard time for our family. Um, but just having small children and teenagers, and then a husband that's in deep, deep grief, um, was really hard. And I think we ended up getting through it just because of, giving each other space to just process that, because it wasn't a time where I had a lot to offer, and it wasn't a time when dad had a lot to offer,
Mhm.
but we could offer each other space and encouragement or small acts of kindness when it was possible. But there are just sometimes in life that you don't have as much capacity, I guess I would say. So to be gentle on not only our spouse, but on ourselves too, because it's real and it's human
Yeah.
to have imperfections and, grief. Grief can be a
Mhm.
big factor. So
Absolutely.
anyway, I apologize for the getting emotional, but
Don't
You don't.
apologize at all. I feel like you touched on a nerve of what a lot of people relate to, honestly, is like the really hard and real things that people go through. That it's like that's a huge test of your relationship.
Yeah.
That like on your wedding day, you never saw that coming,
no,
you know?
no. And to hold the beautiful things alongside the really hard things is just really real in life. That's just part of life. There's um, hard times and good times all together. And just realizing, I think sometimes that people are like, usually I would say one or the other in a relationship at different times will have more of a capacity to give. And then
Mhm.
it's the other person's time to like be filled up, right? So when it hits at the same time, that can be really difficult. And
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
just really life. And I really think that if couples haven't experienced that yet, it will come. So I think just to be patient, go to prayer, ultimately know that your spouse cannot provide everything for you.
Mhm.
Like for me, there was times that I really had to look to my friends, and that's why it's so important to, take the time to maintain those relationships, because like a friend of mine said, and I'll never forget this, but she said, you can't go to um, the hardware store to buy milk, which isn't necessarily the case anymore because Menards probably does sell milk. But
That's what I thought
at
right
that
away. Yeah,
time,
you
that
can.
was the case. Like you couldn't get groceries
You
at the
can't buy it
hardware
at Big
store.
G, I'll tell you that.
Right. But I just think it's so important to not expect our partner to meet all of our needs, because that's when you fall into this spot of just like, I mean, you can kind of become codependent or enmeshed. And obviously, they are hopefully our biggest supporter, but they can't be that all for us.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
That's such a good reminder
Yeah.
for me, honestly. Just to I think there's a tendency in relationships, especially when you're in the early stages, to put your partner in the spot of God and to almost like put him to the side and be like, "Oh, I have like my heart's fulfilled. I have everything I need." But then you get hit with a wave of grief like that and it's like, "Oh, like they can't be that." And it just
Oh
kind of
God.
like sets you back to reality. But that's such a good reminder, even like when things are going well, to just be like, are my priorities in line? So that when something like that happens, then it's not a shock to your system.
I think I'm hearing like a really like strong pattern in all of our examples of like the need for community, communion, and communication in relationships. I think that those things can really be tested in hardships and in those harder seasons. And so using the like better seasons and building like a strong foundation of those things in the happier seasons, I think can really help your relationship in those harder seasons too.
it's hard for me to separate. Like, obviously, marriage is very, very important to that relationship, but I feel like it is so interdependent with so many other relationships, especially once you have children. You know,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of needs to be met, and sometimes my needs do go by the wayside. I think anybody that
Mhm.
has
Yeah.
kids knows that. And so um, it's just a really hard balance because you got to still keep going.
Mhm.
And, you know, sometimes the kids have a greater need, you know?
Mhm.
So, and
Yep.
again,
Sacrifice.
I will just say that it's so important to have friends because they're walking alongside you, going through much the same thing that, that you're going through, and they can offer you support um, outside of that. So,
Absolutely. Grace, I'm not kinda, I am curious about your take too, because although you've never been married, you have been in some deep relationships,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of insight that none of us would have. Even just being somebody who hasn't been married, looking from the outside in at our relationships, what you see maybe that has worked and hasn't that we've never seen, that we can't see from the inside. And also in your relationships, what you've experienced just in dating. I mean, because you're really in the thick of that right now, and we aren't. So you can offer a whole another perspective as
Uh-huh.
well.
Yeah, just as far as like challenges or like
I think just the whole enchilada. Just
there's a
just everything. I
I
mean,
do feel
like,
like I do feel like especially in early relationship, there are so many conflicts that come up too, and you're learning so much about each other at that
yeah.
time.
Yeah, honestly, I think one of the biggest struggles that I had, especially like entering into our relationship, was like, I mean, I'll go into that in a bit, but like when we first started dating, it was like I was kind of in a spot where I was like open to like a relationship, but also like I was so like set in my routine. Like I felt like I was like settled into my singleness and like I was just comfortable, honestly. Like I was comfortable with where I was at. I was kind of like at a point where like I had adjusted from being in a long-term relationship that it took me a while to like get used to
mm,
just being single and like that lifestyle and that transition. And so I was feeling kind of like just like settled and comfortable in that season of life. But like going on dates, open to like exploring things. And so yeah, honestly, I think it was hard just transitioning into like the change of my routine and like kind of my nervous system getting used to like being around someone like more consistently and like
mm,
because just for an example, like we went on a trip together and it was like so much fun, but just like adapting to being around someone for like an extended period of time like that when I'm used to like I could have as much like if I felt like I needed alone time or like I had my routine in the mornings, I had my routine when I would go to bed at night and like I could just kind of do whatever I want without having to like which this I mean probably sounds really selfish, but like having to consider someone else or like yeah, just shifting my routine to involve another
mhm.
person. So, yeah, I remember after that trip, like, I was like, that was a lot of fun. But he was like, oh, like, can I bring you dinner over tonight? And I was like, sure, but I'm going to need a few hours. Like,
But I need to be alone.
yes, because I just like, I think like, yeah, my nervous system just was like trying to adjust. And we're actually watching, have you guys seen the show Married at First Sight?
No.
no, wait, is this like one of those
Why is that a thing?
like Love is
It's
Blind
crazy.
things?
I feel
It's
like
even
I've seen it.
more extreme than Love is Blind because these people like meet at the altar, have never met each other, don't know anything about
Wait, let me
and
look
they
this
get
up. I
married.
think I've seen it.
That's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing I've ever
And
heard.
then right after they get married, they're like together all the time. And I looked at Jacob when we were watching it and I was like, I never could have done this. Like it took me time to adapt with like just like
That feels
it's
not
not like
natural. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
is that
sounds
real? Does
terrible.
this actually last?
but like how did these people go from like being single,
Yeah.
like just like alone and not that a relationship takes away your independence, but like it's just different to
Yeah.
like being around this person 24/7 that you don't even know that you just met. Like, yeah.
Well, and
That,
it's true in even a long-term relationship though that you need a break from each other. Like
Mhm.
you can't stand to be around each
Yeah.
other all the time.
yeah.
That's
So I,
Absence
crazy.
does make the heart grow fonder sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you need that.
yeah. And like we're saying, like one person can't be your everything. Like they're a
Yeah.
piece of your pie. And like there's
Right.
other lives that,
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to this Married at First Sight. There are 20 seasons of this show. 20.
20?
Yeah, I feel like
yeah,
I've seen
I
it.
realized that initially.
I
That's
watched
the weirdest thing.
It's been going since 2014. I've definitely seen this before. I feel like what do you think their success? Oh yes, okay. I know there's this because there was this whole drama on social media about this one girl who got married and then got divorced. I don't know.
No, great. She hasn't finished the season yet.
Wait.
No. This was like a long time ago, like a season, early season. But she was like, she like blew up and became like a famous influencer afterwards. And so then it was like this huge thing. Anyways, I just am curious about like the success rate of that, of like what is the percentage of people that beat on that show and get married and like actually stay married?
Was it like arranged? I mean, because arranged marriages actually have a really high percentage of success.
It's
Well,
arranged by like experts, but like the thing
relationship.
is all the experts know is what the people want to share. So, you know, it's not like there's outs of who they are. It's like whatever through this interview process they decided to share is all the experts have to go off.
Oh, interesting.
Okay,
So
so
the success rate is probably as high as like real arranged marriages by family. But
So weird.
I'm like so interested.
And like episode 5, I think, and this is the first season of it that I've seen.
I feel like part of
But-
it is just for the drama factor. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of drama. So
That's totally why it's a show.
but
I want to watch it.
Okay,
wanna hear
so here's a stat. 86 couples have been on the show across 20 seasons. 12 of them are still married.
Mhm.
so
Not
Honestly,
great.
that's higher than I thought, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I
That might
thought maybe
be
like 3.
that's not terrible for
No.
that. That's wild.
And I don't know if it's like they get married, like if they're like officially married when they are like at the altar. I guess I don't really know that for sure, but that's like how they make it seem at least.
yeah, because
So,
they
I
then
don't
they
know.
have like a divorce.
Oh, they do.
They have a decision day where you decide if you want to stay married or if you want to get divorced, and they actually like, go through the whole divorce process.
This
Yeah.
seems a little bit
What a weird
unorthodox.
show.
That seems messed up.
Honestly, okay.
We do not
That's what
condone
makes
this
it
behavior.
entertaining. Yeah,
No.
that's
Yeah.
the best.
Thing. It's the drama factor.
Yeah, like when we were watching it the other night, Jacob had to go, but he was like, okay, pause. I want to see what else happens. Like, legitimately didn't want to miss out on it. So it's like, it gets you
That's
hooked.
cute.
I love that.
Wait, that's such a fun show to watch together. I love that you guys are watching that together.
I know.
There was one thing I wanted to speak to what that you were saying, Grace, about how you just got comfortable and then this man came into your life. And I feel like that seems to be like a theme with God. He's like,
Mhm.
don't get too comfortable because
Things are gonna change.
I'm going to shake things up or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of always surprises us, but I don't know why. There's
Mhm.
always just something around the corner.
Yeah.
But-
Mhm.
That's what Noelle was kind of going through that season of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna find my guy. And I remember I was like going through a season of like, I don't really want to date anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I'm super comfortable where I'm at, and then that's when I met Aaron, and then Grace having that experience. It is definitely a theme.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. That's a good
I would
point.
say even for you, Felicity, when you met Owen, it was like during a time of your life that, you know, you had just
Yeah,
had a
no,
lot
I
of
never thought
change
I-
and stuff
yeah.
like that. It just, and
Yeah.
you just never know what God has planned. But
No.
ultimately, his plan is the best.
It really is.
Grace, did you have more to say on that? You didn't really finish your after Married at First Sight.
I
You
would
were
say,
talking about your nervous system regulating.
yeah. No, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm still in some sense settling in different ways and just like still adjusting to different things. But I think that like another thing that has just been good to have like awareness of is, I think Faith might have mentioned, like just different communication styles too. And like I feel like Jacob's more of like an external processor where he like wants to like talk things through a lot, and like that's how he sorts through things. And I'm more like internal where like I need to be able to process how I'm feeling and then I can communicate.
Mhm.
Whereas he processes how he's feeling through communicating and like talking through it. So that's just been like something that's been like good to have the awareness of like being able to like at times be like, yeah, like we need to talk this through, but like I just need a minute to like process things a
Mhm.
little and like I want you to know that I'm here, but I just like need a second. And then we can like circle back and like communicate better, because I feel like I like need that time, and then he can have his chance to communicate too. So just something to be, that has been good to like be aware of, so that we can like find a way to communicate that like works for both of us in that sense.
Yeah.
and that you
Yeah.
both feel safe in that. So I think I love that your guys, you like how you said, I'll be here, but I need a minute. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because then it just gives the other person that's used to just like tackling it, and you know what I mean? Like the ability to say, okay, it's going to be all right. We just need a minute, you know?
That's
So,
funny because Austin and I are the exact opposite of you guys, Grace. He's
Mm-hmm.
the
We are.
internal one and I'm the external
mhm.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's the same with dad and I. That must be a thing.
it
There's
is a
so
thing.
much value, I think, also in like having those like because I am a very external processor, you all know that, and I think there's a lot of value in like making sure that the emotions have settled before you have some of those bigger conversations, or like making sure that you're not gonna like throw in these other disagreement points or these like tension points into a different conversation. I think just making sure, I just think that's part of like having like a healthy relationship too, is getting to that point where you like can have those conversations in situations where like it doesn't get to this huge like heightened situation. I don't know. I think that there's different seasons in life, even for us, where like emotions are just more heightened as it is, and that makes for way less productive problem solving. And then
Mhm.
to those places, that's why Aaron balances me out so well too, because he's more of that internalizer. He'd rather go to the shop and think things through for a little bit, and then we can have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is to my benefit, because otherwise if I'm going to hash it out right then and there, you're going to see like the side of me that is emotionally charged, you know. It's better for me to take a
Take a
step back
step back.
and
Yeah.
before I say, even though I would way rather just hash it out right then and
I
there.
remember from the engaged encounter, which I absolutely loved, one piece of advice that they gave in in any kind of like conflict is to not use the words never or always. And I
Absolutely.
think that is like
Yeah.
literally one of the best pieces of advice. And I still catch myself doing it sometimes. But because usually when there's any like emotional charge coming from me, I automatically want to say, you never do this. Or, like
This
it's so
always
easy to,
happens. Yeah.
yeah, this always happens, or you always do this. And I think having that piece of advice, taking that out, really, if I can catch myself before I do that, it really can like just lower the emotions in the situation before I accidentally say something that I'm going to regret. Because usually, if I say something I'm going to regret, it has never or always in it.
Yeah.
Well,
My
naturally, that's put somebody on the defense too,
Uh
right? And
huh. Yeah. Exactly.
dad and I decided early on in our relationship that when we address each other or talk to each other, whether it's just every day or when we're arguing, that we will be respectful.
Hmm.
And there are times that we have not been, but for the most part, I would say we try to respect the other person when we're talking to them, so that we don't like get into this like attack mode where, all of a sudden the person that I love is the person that is like I'm treating like my enemy or something, So just talking, I think, and when you have a respectful demeanor about you, you're just going to have more productive conversation. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. Which is
and I
why
think it's good when you have kids around too, because then you're
it
going to model
forces
to
you.
them
Yeah.
what resolution looks like in a
Yeah.
respectful way. So,
Which is why I think it's good to like be able to step back sometimes, because sometimes I think especially as women, or at least in Owen and I's relationship, it's easy for me to be like for me to want to say things when I'm feeling emotional. And I know Faith said this, but just like taking that time to calm yourself before having that conversation completely changes the conversation.
Okay, I have a
well,
question. What does that look like for you guys? Because I struggle with that.
yeah,
Of like when I'm in a season of right, and when I'm in the part of my cycle where I am menstruating, I have such a hard time, like, remembering that I'm feeling these things, and they're heightened because of that. And, like, taking a step back, and it doesn't matter what happens every single month, it's like I forget. It's like amnesia. I don't
Uh-huh.
understand.
I usually like
Yeah.
will literally say if I know that I'm having a day that I'm really like having to bite my tongue or like I'm just like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I literally will be like tell Owen, I just so you know, I'm really in a or I'm just super annoyed right now.
Irritable.
Yeah, like just
Mm.
so you know, this is your warning. But basically, like trying to
Don't.
catch that in
I will
myself
bite.
before I freak out. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
I can give him a warning that like I need you to be just more of a calming presence right now instead of overwhelming because I can't handle that right now.
Yeah.
Well, and also that it's not them.
Yeah,
Like my
exactly.
irritability, although it's
Yeah,
coming out on you, is not about you. It's about what's happening in here and sometimes driven by hormones that I can't control. So that's
yes,
when I'll say, I am just really irritable. I don't know why. I'm really sorry, but I'm
yes.
irritable. And then it's
Also,
kind of, it's got to, maybe it's, he wants to go to a shop or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to
That's
get
when
away
you give
from
space.
I will also say, like, kind of like you guys are saying, I think in our relationship, at least Aaron has learned, like, to not take it personal on in that kind of time of the month. But also, I think that's why it's so key to, like, approach fertility from a team perspective because
Mhm.
Aaron is aware of like my cycle, sometimes actually almost always better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, he knows like the time of the month that maybe I'm going to have a shorter fuse and he knows kind of how to balance me out and take on some more things for me. And I think that's why during harvest when he's not there to like be my emotional support through the roller coaster of hormones, that's why it's like it's that much more tricky because I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out myself now. But I just think like he's such a good partner for me, like because he balances me out in that way and approaches it like from a team perspective. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, like you guys are saying though too, is like having open communication of like this is how I'm feeling, or yeah, saying I'm really irritable right now. It's not about you. I just need
Mm-hmm.
space. Or I'm really, for me, it comes out more so like I just get overwhelmed with like in parenting more, like
Mm-hmm.
little things that like Micah, like if he's like really fussy a day and when I'm feeling hormonal, then I just have a shorter fuse with that. And so Aaron's like, oh, I'll just take him or,
Mm-hmm.
try to give me a little bit extra space.
Mhm. Yeah.
When we were talking about the topic of like when you're in an emotional state, it's like if you're in a state of like dysregulation, you're obviously your logical brain isn't on, so you can't think rationally. So sometimes it is good to just like give yourself the time to like come out of that the emotional part of your brain so that you can actually think logically about the situation instead of being like in that state.
Yeah.
So
Fight
Okay,
or
guys,
flight.
I might have to go. I'm sorry. I'm getting texts about luggage size and stuff like that, and
Oh yeah.
I need to get
You
this
got.
figured out. So,
Well, that's okay. We'll
I'm
wrap
sorry to
this
bow
up
out
too.
early.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
We love you,
Love you
Mom.
guys. Okay.
Bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye.
What would be your advice to someone who's dating since we've all been through that season? I had time to think about this because I thought it was a really good question. So
Why don't you tell us, Faith, what your answer was?
I think for me, for somebody that's dating, I would say date with purpose. Somebody that you not want to be married to on your wedding day, but somebody that you want to be married to on your hardest days. I don't know. Noelle and Felicity, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. You want to pick somebody who's going to be there for every season. And if they're
Mhm.
there on your hardest days, they're sure as hell there on your best days. So,
Exactly. Like the best days are awesome when you have somebody that can celebrate those with you. But if you're in a relationship with somebody who, when you're having a hard time, is just like sayonara,
Yeah.
you know, be your person.
I think
yeah.
my thing would honestly be I've heard advice given of like things don't get better once you get married. But I will say that with time, things can improve in the sense of like getting to know each other better. Um, that just changes so much. Like an early relationship, kind of like we were talking about, it is a lot to get to know somebody and to figure out all of the dynamics. And once you get to know them better, at least in my own relationship, our arguments and all of that got to be so much less and less common as we figured out things together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Um, I have a hard time coming up with dating advice, honestly, because I don't really feel like a dating expert.
And
I've only
then you're
dated
like
for
far enough
6
removed
months.
from it. Yeah.
Make sure that the person that you are dating is somebody who shares the same like morals and values as you. And I think that if you have the same goal in mind of like if you have the same morals and values, that is like 90% of the way there for your relationship, honestly, because things can go wrong and then but if you have the same morals of like, "Oh no, we're not going to leave each other when things get hard," then you're good. But if you're on 2 different pages, like I mean just to hash that kind of stuff out before you're when you're dating too of like, "Hey, what is your like thoughts on like divorcing people or not maybe like talking about divorce, but I don't know. I don't
But
know what
yeah,
I'm
like
trying to
all of
say.
the things. Literally go on the engaged encounter and you will
Yeah,
have to
that's what
address some hard questions that are very important
yes.
things to address. Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe
absolutely.
uncomfortable, but like very nice to know before you get yourself into a lifelong commitment.
Like, what are some of those questions?
It just like covers a lot. Like just
I would
so many
say
different conflicts that come up.
like money things are huge
Mm.
and then family things too about the other person's family
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
relationships
Childhood
they have with their
things,
family. Mhm.
parenting that you like your style of parenting going into that. There's
Mm.
like just
Oh my
so many
gosh.
things.
I have this book. Grace, I need to give this to you. It's called 100 Questions to Ask Your Spouse Before You Get Engaged or your partner before you get engaged or something.
Oh, I love that.
Austin and I went through that when we were dating. I thought it was so fun. And actually, we should open them up and just see what our answers were.
I love
It
But
that
sounds
kind of
great.
stuff.
Yeah. No, I would be curious to hear because I feel like we've like dug into a lot of things. I think just being older, like it's like you just like you know what you're looking for and like there's no point in really like wasting time, I
yeah.
guess. But I'd be curious to have like other like a lens on other
Mhm.
things that there's like obviously so much that you have to think about and that goes into that. So just like other questions and perspectives and stuff
Well,
would
and
be
you know
interesting.
what's wild too is we've been married for almost 6 years. I still find things about Austin that are new that I'm like, I never knew that before.
Mhm.
And
Totally.
usually it's when we're with like his family and he'll say something
Yeah,
that's
you're
like,
like,
oh, and this thing, and I was like, you didn't tell
you're
me?
like,
And
you
he's
really
like, well, I thought
blindsided
I
me.
didn't know I had to tell you. I'm like, it's nothing like monumentally
Yeah.
serious, like
Yeah.
at face value, but it's something where I'm like, I can't believe we've gone all this time and you've never told me that story
Or like
before.
Uh-huh.
small things that maybe he just like didn't know he didn't tell you or
Yeah,
like
Yes,
stuff like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that's very common for a boy too, male to do that kind of stuff.
I think a lot of the questions that like you don't naturally go through are kind of more situational questions. Like if this happens, what would your response be? Or like
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah.
That would be
Okay,
Grace,
guys,
you can come over sometime and we can open the engaged encounter book and kind of read
Okay.
through the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're going to need to wrap this up. I hate to say it, but this episode's getting quite long. So let's just go ahead and say what we're making room for this week. And that's good. And if you want to tie in
All right.
your favorite thing for the week too, great. But if not, whatever.
I was just asking if she had any advice to give because she was the only one that didn't get a
Oh,
chance.
sorry. I totally just cut you off.
No, no, it's okay. It's really okay.
I just looked at the time and I heard Austin
Yeah.
come out of the
No.
kids' rooms and I was like, we've been here for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
no.
that.
I think we just go into the next segment.
Okay. Sorry, Grace.
No, it's okay.
This week I am making room for just continued family time and getting to enjoy each other's presence fully. Really checking out from social media and our phones and trying to focus on enjoying every moment.
This week, I am making room for confidence. I just am feeling some imposter syndrome with this part of the application process for completely shifting kind of my career trajectory. And so just trying to stay confident in who I am and the value that I could bring to a company.
This week I'm making room for friendship. For whatever reason, last week was a week where I had like 0 play dates planned, and that was really hard. That sounds like so dumb, but when you're a stay-at-home mom, you get it because it's like staring at a wall all day. Not you don't stare at a wall. I do a lot more than that, but
Absolutely nothing.
no, I'm just saying, like, that is absolutely I never have time to stare at the wall. I should not say that. But like just talking to your kids, you need adult conversation. You absolutely do. And like not having any adult interaction is really hard on it can be hard on your mental health, I would say, if you don't have that. And Felicity, I'm sure you can vouch for this too, being staying at home for the last however many years or whenever that was. How long were you at home? A year or something.
Yeah, and it is
It's really
exhausting.
hard.
Well, and I'd say even just like getting to parent with another parent with more chaos is much better than doing it alone. So
Yeah. And just
I
like to
totally feel ya.
have an adult that's like sharing the experience with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a play date yesterday. We have one tomorrow. We have one on Thursday, one on Friday. And that is wonderful. That is how I like it. Stack the week up, baby. Give me 2 play dates, 3 play dates a day. I'm sold. So I love it.
That's awesome. This week I am making room for getting stuff done. Like I said, I just have like a lot of little things that I need to like check off and do. So yeah, making room for doing. Sometimes I can be a procrastinator and there's not really time for that. So yeah, just getting it done.
Love it.
Well, great. It's so nice to chat with you guys again this week. And I also want to say sorry for uploading that last podcast, like not on a Thursday. It was like a Monday, which was super random and we didn't even give any context. So thanks for rolling with the punches. But we'll be back next time with a podcast about friendship, correct?
Yes, we will.
Okay, and we can talk more about play dates then. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Bye. That was today's conversation, and now it's your turn.
Who can you make room for this week? Who might need an invitation, a listening ear, or a seat at your table?
It doesn't have to be perfect, just open.
We'll be back next time, gathered again with stories, faith, and family. Until then,
Pull up a chair and follow us on Instagram at Room for More Podcast. There is always one more seat at the table.